Hello, if you watched my first video, welcome back to the second installment of how I finally made it to the Philippines. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about documents you need to have to get the okay to board at your port of departure, assuming it's going to be an aircraft. Like I said yesterday, I was leaving from Baghdad, and there's a plethora of things that you need to take with you to the airport to be able to get on the plane. But before I get into that, let me talk a little bit about some of the things I brought with me that I might not normally travel with. Number one, I brought a kettle, some instant coffee, and some tea because I knew I was going to be holed up here for at least 10 days. And that's if they don't find me, if I don't have a negative test, which I'll be taking today. Other things I brought with me: salt and pepper, spices, some peppers, and some sweets from Iraq as well. Just you have to think about what's going to make your stay in jail here as comfortable as possible. I didn't know if I would be able to order food from outside, if I'd be able to get any food in, and that type of thing. I'll cover more about that in probably tomorrow's video about quarantine, arrival, and then quarantine in the Philippines. Anyways, the things that I had to have pre-departure, I had to have a PCR test, obviously. Now, I read somewhere that the PCR test is not required to enter the Philippines because you're going into quarantine. And in fact, they never asked me to see it. So that may be accurate. But to leave Iraq, I had to have a negative PCR test. And that's always a stressful event. Because there's so many false positives. There's so many people that are positive with no symptoms. Who knows? And which would have really jammed up my schedule. So, anyways, you have to have a negative PCR test. Okay. Next thing you need to have, obviously, you need to have a ticket. I was fortunate in that my company booked my ticket last minute. So there were no economy class tickets. So they had put me in business class, clear all the way back to Manila. That's the way to travel if you're going to travel, without a doubt. Along with your ticket, you're going to need a visa. This is my 9A visa for the Philippines. Single entry. And one thing I'll recommend before you go to the airport, make copies and have a complete packet ready for these people, just to give it to them all at once, and then you're done. The other thing you have to have, because you have to go online and register with the Health Pass, the One Health Pass system, and you have to print that out. And I see it has the QR code here and everything. They ask for this about 4 times at the airport, both in Baghdad as well as in Manila. So that's an important one. Along with my visa, because it was an exemption from the temporary suspension of visa issuance, because there's still a suspension of visa issuance except for married folks, and we can file for an exemption. So you have to have a copy of that as well. And this was Baghdad Airport. Wasn't a Filipino. It was the clerk before he would even consider booking me a seat. Along with that, because I had the exemption for being married, I had to have a copy of my marriage certificate. And again, have that copy with you. Have extra copies. I had 3 or 4 packets made up before I left. That way, I just handed everybody that needed it. I was done. And then finally, you have to have your hotel booking where you're going to stay quarantined at. Now, several people have asked me, how do you pick your hotel? Philippine Airlines has a link that lists all the government-approved hotels in Manila as well as in Cebu. And basically, you go down through the list. You can have everything from, you can order any food you want. You're going to have to pay for it, to you get food like I get, and it's a set price. But it depends on what you want to pay for and how much comfort you have to have. Like I said, I brought my own kettle, I brought my own tea, my own coffee. Um, I brought some, you know, things to eat, stuff like that. Now, what I'm finding is that's one thing you may want to ask your hotel before you book it. Is can you order in? Because here in Manila at least you can use Grab, you can use Food Panda, those places. And like I did with Shakey's the other day, I just went online to the restaurant and ordered, and they delivered. Even 7-Eleven delivers now, so you can even order beers. Haven't been able to find any good gin yet, but yeah, week's not over yet. Anyways, that's what I've got today. Again, make sure before you go to your port of departure, the airport, whatever, you have all your documents that you need to have. Makes things a whole lot easier. And yeah, that's all I got for today. If you have any questions, feel free to message me. Drop it in the comment section. And again, like and subscribe. Have a great day. Thank you.